Welcome to the deep dive. Today, our mission, well, it's really focused. Understanding how artificial intelligence is changing retail security. We're talking about moving from just recording things to actually stepping in real time.
Exactly. We're looking specifically at how AI is being deployed against this really concerning rise in coordinated smash and grab crimes.
And the sources we've looked at really underscore their agency. There was a shocking incident recently. I mean, try to picture it. A Monday afternoon, San Ramon police report almost 25 suspects, okay?
25.
Yeah, and at least three armed with guns, storming Heller Jewelers at City Center Bishop Ranch. It wasn't, some slow crime of opportunity.
No,
It was fast, coordinated, destructive over in just minutes.
and that incident, it really highlights the crisis, doesn't it? These raids are getting more organized, more brazen,
Hmm.
and the big failure point for most current security setups, traditional cameras just give you a recording after it's all over.
Right, it's just evidence for later.
Exactly. It's evidence for a police report, maybe, but it does nothing to deter the crime as it's happening. When lives and property are actually at risk, that footage is useless in the moment.
So the big question then is, what if you could intervene before they even break the glass, or worse, before violence erupts?
Precisely.
And that leads us straight into the core of this deep dive, Alpha Vision, or AV. It's an AI solution that claims to go way beyond simple monitoring.
Yeah, they're talking about detecting, deterring, and ultimately defeating retail crime, all in real time.
So what actually is Alpha Vision? How does it differ from just, say, better cameras?
Well, fundamentally, it's defined as a cloud-based AI surveillance platform. The key thing is it's built for real-time action and intervention.
Okay.
It's not primarily designed for looking back at footage after an event, for forensic analysis. Its main job is now.
Now, for anyone listening who runs a business, maybe an operations manager, the first thought might be, oh, great, another huge infrastructure cost, ripping out old systems, putting in new ones.
Right, that's always the concern.
But one of the key points that comes up in the sources, and this seems pretty important for adoption, is that AV apparently requires no rip and replace.
That's a major selling point. It's designed to integrate with existing camera systems, existing infrastructure. It makes the transition much smoother, less disruptive.
That makes sense, lowering the barrier to entry.
Definitely. That plug-and-play aspect is huge. But the real core difference, I think, is more philosophical. This whole platform is built around providing, as they put it, intelligence that acts, not just records.
Intelligence that acts.
Yeah. The AI's job is to spot a threat profile, figure out the risk level like instantly, and then kick off a response faster than any human could possibly manage, especially if they're watching multiple feeds. And it's all managed remotely through the cloud.
Okay. That speed, that immediate action, that has to be the critical piece, right? Because like you said, these smash and grabs, they can be over in, 90 seconds? Maybe less.
Exactly. To interrupt something that fast, the AI needs to be incredibly precise, incredibly quick.
So let's get into the detection side. How does it actually see a threat developing? Because this is where it gets really interesting technologically speaking. It's not just basic motion detection, is it?
Not at all. The sources talk about the scale of the system's logic being immense. Alpha Vision apparently uses over 100 distinct AI algorithms.
Wow, over 100. What does that actually mean in practice?
It means it allows for incredibly detailed, nuanced observation of behavior. We're not just talking about spotting someone standing still for too long and calling it loitering.
Right.
The system's programmed to identify complex sequences of specific actions that indicate a threat. It's monitoring for things like concealment, obviously, or trying to exit without paying, aggression. But it gets much more granular than that, all in real time.
Can you give us an example? Like with 100 algorithms, what's the AI picking up that maybe a human security guard, even a really alert one watching a dozen screens, might miss?
Okay, a good example might be the difference between someone just browsing expensive watches versus someone casing the joint, as they say. A human might just see someone looking intently at a display case. But the AI, it could be programmed to recognize a specific combination of actions. Maybe prolonged focus on the case, combined with repeated glances towards exits, security cameras, or staff locations.
So tracking eye movements, head turns.
Potentially, yes. It's analyzing the sequence, the neck movements, the dwell time on certain points, maybe even subtle hand gestures near a bag. It's trying to infer the intent behind these tiny, almost subconscious motor actions, seeing if they match a known pre-attack pattern.
That makes sense. It's looking for that specific mosaic of subtle signs, these pre-crime indicators, based on all those algorithms working together.
Exactly. And that high-resolution behavioral analysis is what potentially gives the system those crucial few seconds it needs to react before the glass smashes.
But okay, that raises a really critical question, doesn't it? If the system is trying to tell the difference between a genuine customer maybe nervously admiring a diamond ring and a criminal about to make a move, where's the line?
That's the million-dollar question. And it's precisely the challenge that having multiple sophisticated algorithms is meant to address.
How so?
Well, it's likely not just one single data point that triggers an alert. Like, just looking at an exit isn't enough. It's probably the combination and the context.
Okay.
The system might need to see, say, loitering near a high-value target, plus specific hand movements consistent with concealment, plus that head scanning pattern indicating surveillance awareness. It's about the convergence of multiple flags.
So layering the data points reduces the noise and hopefully avoids too many false alarms on innocent shoppers.
That's the goal, yeah. By requiring multiple indicators to line up, it aims to dramatically increase the accuracy and target genuine signs of escalation, signs that something is about to happen.
Okay, so let's say the system does register those indicators. The thresholds are met, the AI decides this looks like trouble. What happens then? How does it move from detection to actual deterrence?
Right? This is the intelligence that acts part. Once the AI flags a high-risk pattern, the process is designed to be instantaneous and coordinated via the cloud.
Okay.
First, it triggers immediate alerts. These can go to staff on the floor via headsets or tablets, to on-site security guards, maybe even to a remote monitoring center miles away.
So someone gets notified fast.
Very fast.
Uh-huh.
And simultaneously, it can initiate a live video review. This allows a human operator somewhere to quickly glance at the feed and confirm, yes, this looks like a real escalating threat.
But the crucial step, the one aimed at disrupting those super fast smash and grabs.
That's the activation of automated action workflows. This is where it gets proactive.
Meaning we're going beyond just sending a text message alert to the store manager.
Exactly. The sources describe activating tangible physical deterrents right there in the store.
Like what kind of deterrents are we talking about?
They can range quite a bit. One tactic mentioned is flashing police-style strobe lights inside the store.
Mm-hmm.
Bright, disorienting, signaling very clearly you've been spotted.
Huh. I can see how that might startle someone.
Another is voice activation. This could be a loud pre-recorded warning, something like, "Warning! Security protocol initiated. Law enforcement has been notified."
Okay, yeah, hearing that suddenly boom out while you're trying to be inconspicuous would definitely be jarring. Maybe even a little comical if it wasn't so serious.
Or it could even be a live voice intervention, piped in from that remote guard who just reviewed the video feed. "This is security. Step away from the display case."
But let's think back to that Healer Jewelers incident. Armed suspects, a coordinated group. Is a flashing light and a recorded voice really going to stop people like that? People who came prepared for confrontation.
That's a really important point, and it gets to the strategy here. The immediate goal isn't necessarily confrontation, especially against armed individuals. It's deterrence and disruption.
Okay, explain that difference.
The purpose isn't really to replace armed security or physically stop determined violent criminals right there and then. It's about breaking your plan before it fully executes, by signaling immediate active awareness. We see you, we know what you're planning, we are acting now. For many criminal groups, especially those relying on speed and surprise, that instant disruption, that loss of surprise, might be enough to make them hesitate. It breaks their timeline, their psychological advantage. They might decide the risk profile just changed, abandon this target, and look for an easier one somewhere else.
So it's about making the store a harder target, increasing the perceived risk for the criminals right at that critical moment.
Exactly. It fundamentally shifts the dynamic from the store being a passive victim to an active defender, even if that defense is initially just lights and sound. It's about preventing the loss from happening in the first place.
That makes sense. Disruption, not necessarily direct confrontation, so prioritizing active deterrence. But what about after the fact? Does the system have value, even if, unfortunately, a crime still happens, or if it's successfully prevented?
Oh, absolutely. There's still significant long-term utility. The platform's ability to capture very specific time-stamped video clips, along with detailed logs of why the alert triggered the specific behaviors detected.
Ah, so it documents the pre-crime indicators it saw.
Precisely. That provides critical, high-quality evidence for law enforcement. If the incident was stopped, that data justifies the intervention. If the crime still occurred, The intelligence gathered is often far more useful than just raw, hours-long surveillance footage. It can really help build a stronger case for prosecution.
So, connecting this to the bigger picture, this type of AI platform seems like a pretty massive strategic shift for businesses thinking about loss prevention.
It really is. It's moving away from that old model of just relying on static cameras and human guards, trying to react to things they often see too late, if at all.
Yeah.
It's about empowering loss prevention efforts with actual proactive intelligence, turning security from just a reactive cost center into something that actively tries to, well, defeat crime before it happens.
Defeat, not just record.
That's the core message you get from the source material, really. The idea is, don't wait for the next big heist. It's time to adopt the future of retail security, where systems are designed to stop crime, not just document it happening.
So what does this all mean for you listening? Whether you're running a business, worried about safety and losses, or just someone interested in where tech is going, this deep dive really shows a clear shift, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's AI moving beyond just crunching data in the background. It's
Yeah.
about AI taking immediate physical action or triggering actions in the real world,
Yeah.
from just observing to actively intervening.
Which brings up a really important question, I think. One that any business using this tech needs to consider, maybe all of us need to think about as this stuff becomes more common.
What's that?
As AI surveillance shifts from passively watching crimes happen to actively detecting and deterring threat behaviors,
Hmm.
things like specific ways of loitering or concealment, even before a crime occurs, what are the bigger implications?
Yeah. Implications for monitoring public or semi-public spaces like stores.
Exactly. And where do we as a society or where do these businesses set the thresholds for intervention? When does the machine get to decide someone's behavior is threatening enough to trigger lights and alarms?
That's a huge ethical and practical question that definitely follows this technological leap. It's about balancing security with privacy and, the potential for bias or error in the algorithms.
For sure. That's a whole other conversation. But for now, we'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. Where else in your daily life might you see this kind of intelligence that acts approach?
Right. Where else could AI systems designed to defeat a threat, not just record it, start replacing older, more passive security measures?
The revolution seems to be happening now, powered by well over 100 algorithms. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.